Hello and welcome to the Amiga version of Daga 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 Daga. Sorry, I think it's called Untouchables. After having completed the Commodore 64 version, I decided just to get the Amiga version done and out of the way, so that is covered as well. Not unlike the Commodore 64 version, I find this game to be a great bad game or a bad great game. I don't know, I can't decide. The gameplay is very different. I will refrain from doing comparisons between the two versions, but I will make a certain notes. But you have the boxes and all the good stuff, but you have no real need to actually utilize them. There's no point in any way, shape or form to actually crawl up, because the bad guy that drops the evidence, the guy in the brown trench coat, will happily come down to you. He moves in exactly the same pattern. The only deviation is if he's right above you and you move right of him, he will start moving left. So the arrow in the top right corner that points towards where he is located, make sure it is to the right or left of you respectively, depending on which side the pointer initially pointed towards. Interface, score, underneath score, time. Time is not an issue in this version at all. This level is just, yeah, formality. To the right of that, evidence collected. You need 100% evidence. Probably wouldn't have guessed. We have an image of alertness, and to the left of that image there's an energy bar. There's no smart portrait transition. It is an energy bar. And we're running a bit low on energy right now, but we'll pick up an E and lose some health again. So right now that you have your weapon, which in this version it doesn't change, but underneath your weapon you have the ammunition counter. Because in this version you can run out of ammunition and then you are owned, because you cannot dispatch the bad guys without being able to shoot them. And without any bullets, it's quite hard to shoot someone. Yeah, you can fail this level running out of ammunition. The pickups: R is a rapid fire, E is energy, which will restore some of your energy, surprise surprise, and A is ammunition. You definitely want to make sure that your ammunition is topped up. The rapid fire equals unlimited ammunition, so the basic gameplay loop on this level is just shoot some bad guys, pick up an R, and then move the direction towards the evidence guy while holding on the fire button. You can duck to avoid taking damage from shots, but the guys carrying the evidence in their brown trench coats, so they are very easy to recognize. They have shotguns and they don't care about you ducking or not, they will still hit you. But they are also the source of the coolest sound effect on this level, which is the sound of the shotgun. It will do a brutal amount of damage to you, so it's not a sound you necessarily want to enjoy for too long, but it sounds cool. Thankfully, almost done with it's good fun, isn't it? There's a virtually no gameplay in this level. Virtually no gameplay. Move right or left, hold down fire button. Yeah. And we're done. Hooray! And now we get a notification of our accomplishments. So, moving swiftly onwards to the bridge scene, which for some bizarre reason has been decided should be a time wasting pile of bleh. I hate using that term, but that's the only term I can use. On the Commodore 64 version, you have a baseball bat that will slowly diminish as you shoot bad guys, and once that baseball bat is gone, the level is complete. On the Amiga version, you have to gather 100 liquor, and you get them 2 units at a time for each bottle you shoot, because of course it makes perfect sense to gather stuff by shooting it. Why didn't I think of that? Oh, I know why I didn't think of it. Because it's stupid. Never mind, it's a minor thing. I suppose they would be even more stupid if you had to run forward and pick up the bottle while you have the bad guys trying to fill you with holes. I have always seen this level as being the filler level that's supposed to make you feel that you are getting value for your money based on the time spent on it, on the game. Because this takes, for what you're supposed to be doing, it takes an obscene amount of time, and I think it's just silly. You are rolling to the right while melting your gun barrel, and then you shoot some bottles from time to time. And then you start rolling left. The medkits, by the way, they will restore your health, which this time is not an energy bar, but actually the portrait of a Ness diminishing. But it will fill your energy over time, and it will always restore you to full health over time. So while you have a medkit healing you, you can happily ignore all incoming damage. You will not die, it will heal you back up to full. But the thing about this level is there's only 3 objects, well, except for the men and the gunfire and the backgrounds and whatever. There are only 3 objects on the play field at any given time, which means that a medkit is an object and a bottle is an object. So you can be in the lovely position that you have 3 medkits up and no bottles. So don't be too concerned about using the medkits. If nothing else, it will free a spawn slot for a bottle, and it is picking up the bottles by shooting them that will complete the level. One thing I find annoying about this level, except for the fact that, beyond the fact that it takes far too long to actually complete it, is that it suffers from what I consider to be Operation Wolf Syndrome, where you have a 3D-like shooter or a 3D shooter, first-person thing, where you don't actually know where the sources of incoming damage comes from. I mean, obviously in Operation Wolf, the guys throwing hand grenades at you and knives are probably a good indication that that will hurt, but is it every guy on the screen that you need to worry about? Or is it just the guys in front of you? And this game definitely suffers from the same issue, but roll to the right, shoot, roll to the left, shoot, roll back to the right, shoot, and you are perfectly fine. I'm not saying it's impossible to die on this level, it is quite possible, but just keep moving. If you don't see anything on the screen, just keep moving to the furthest right or furthest left in order to eventually bump into a medkit. The timer can be an issue on this level, but as long as you just keep rolling and rolling and rolling, you will be perfectly fine. The aiming thing on the Commodore 64 version is back on this version as well, and it is a bit more precise. But you know what? Just hold down the fire button, move the joystick while rolling. That will do it. The graphics in this game in general and the sound quality not necessarily the sound use, but sound quality is actually quite high. It is definitely, it gives you a sense of being an Amiga game. But just the gameplay is a bit tedious and bland. And we're finally done with this level. Hooray! We seized some liquor. I shot it, I didn't seize it. No mind. Details. The alleys on Amiga. A famous, infamous level, depending on if you like the soundscape or not. The 5 scenes that are used in the Commodore 64 version are also used on the Amiga version. And on the Commodore 64 version of this level, you have an overall timer. So if you screw up a bit on an early level, you can catch up by performing extremely well on a later, not level, but alley. But on the Amiga version, you have a very strict timer on each individual alley, and it may initially seem somewhat generous, but if you start whiffing shots, then you will run out of time. Unlike the Commodore 64 version, damage is not the real issue. The real issue is definitely the timer. You'll probably notice that when one of the guys or is inactive, he will generate health relatively quickly compared to the Commodore 64 version, but you only have 2 guys to choose between on this version, so I suppose it evens out somewhere. What I found on this level is the best thing to do is to just have some sort of system where you pick 4 guys that you consistently shoot 2 at a time. In the case of this level, the guy to the left and the leftmost window, then the car tried to shoot it, and I waiting for that guy to spawn. He will do a lot of damage because of course he's at point blank range for the machine gun, assault rifle, thing, whatever. I'm just using those for the back right guy in the back right window. You shoot in that area or kill that guy and the car will appear. Shoot the back end of the car to kill the guy that tries to throw a Molotov cocktail at you. And just rinse and repeat. It's just, it keeps the spawn consistent. And it's much better to have consistency even though we pushed it a bit closer. I've started getting a system for each alley. This one got a bit off, so I had to improvise a bit, but it is more important to make sure not to whiff shots. Take a bit of damage to land your shots on targets is far more important than being too worried about health. That's why you'll probably find that sometimes I'm hanging around just waiting for someone to pop, even though there's another target I could probably pick. By the time I've moved the reticule towards that target, you probably have got into hiding or whatever. Yeah. Rather use a system that works than using a system that might or might not work. That is my approach. Feel free to have a different one. Same concept. This level. Those 2 guys. And then the guy in the back right window who also a car up here. Oof. And of course miss because, well, I'm skilled. And by the way, it's something I will have to say, because some people might be paying attention to it. If the score is very different from level to level, it is because I am not perfect. I do not play this game from level 1 to the end in attempting to do it in one straight playthrough. This game allows you to continue from the level you've arrived at. So, unlike the Commodore 64 version, which keeps the score you had, this one resets the score to 0 every single time you restart a level. Final alley. The Amiga version, you got a boss. And this boss guy is fair, because he hides, of course. He doesn't want to get shot, you can blame him. But sometimes he can be hidden for up to 4 seconds. And there's nothing you can do about it. You can't shoot what you can't see. And yes, I have tried being at 3 seconds and him hiding, not coming out, needing 1 hit to kill. It's a lovely way to fail this level. Because no matter how exciting I found it first time I ever played it, I have to admit, after having played it quite a few times, the level got a bit stale. I got distracted by my cat. I could have cut it out, but I decided not to. So, sorry about that short delay. Moving onwards to the station. Fundamentally, this level is very similar to the Commodore 64 version, but when I made the statement on the Commodore 64 video, this is one of the worst levels designed in gaming history, it was actually the Amiga version I was referring to. I have to say though that after doing this video and approaching the game from a very different perspective than just try to beat it, actually learning the different things going on the levels, I should rather say, it's actually not that bad. I still think the design is extremely unforgiving. You have your health bar and the baby trolley's health bar, and if either goes to 0, of course, you fail the level. But what makes the Amiga version extremely funky is the fact that civilians, they are mobile roadblocks. If you shoot them, you will take damage for trying to harm civilians, but even better, if they bump into the baby trolley, it will tip over, causing you to fail the level. And to be honest, it's not that exciting. Elliot Ness is supposed to be in a grave hurry on this level trying to save the child, but he seems to be just out on a afternoon stroll, I think it's called. Aha, see, this is the statue. Haha. Yeah, it caught me off guard many times. But we are done. Not too bad. And of course, we have to rescue the hostage. I think the quote was something like, "Stone, got him. Yeah, take him." So we did. In that scene in the film, by the way, Stone is actually lying down, so I've always found it interesting that you are standing up. If memory serves, it's been quite a few years since I watched the film, but regardless, we are on to the last level, which plays out very much the same way as the Commodore 64 version. Fight against Navy. I deliberately took a few hits there so I could wait for him to run across so I could actually shoot him. One thing of note is the fact that Elliot Ness must be a bit confused because he's reloading a revolver. I think it's fairly obvious. If you look down the middle of the screen, there's a bullets indication. but he's using what looks like a semi-automatic. I think he's he must feel very awkward being in that position. Whatever, details, nothing to be too concerned about, but it's just an observation that I find interesting. In the phone, by the way, I'm fairly sure he's using a police special 38, whatever. But he's definitely using a revolver. And we are done with Mr. Nitty Gritty. And why does the Commodore 64 version get a much more epic finish than that? It's just bleh, not a dramatic fall off the rooftop and spiking into the car. I will not spoil how the film ends because it doesn't end that way. But, well, sort of, but not quite. But this video ended here. And done and dusted with the Amiga version. Not bad, but just so wonky designed. Thanks for watching. Take care. See you next time. Bye bye for now.